Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Non-Scripted Ramblings. I'm Kendall Richardson. Thank you so much again for joining me as I continue my reviews and reactions to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And today's video, I'm going to be talking all about episode 4, which is called The Whole World is Watching. And boy, is the whole world watching. My God. So I only just finished watching the episode for the first time minutes ago, so I don't know where to start with this one because I really want to skip to the end of the episode because there's a certain image that's in my mind now that is never going away, and I have a lot of feelings about it, but I'll work up to it. I'll get there. I really liked how this episode started. We got flashbacks to Wakanda and Bucky and Ayo 6 years ago, probably just before the events of Avengers Infinity War, if my timeline is correct. So that's pretty cool to see, Bucky's treatment and recovery after, Shuri fixed the brainwashing. And rendered the code words, useless against him. Like, he's not Winter Soldier anymore. And just watching Ayo say the words, listening to her say all of the words in Russian repeatedly was really powerful. A little jarring because, she was just speaking Wakandan, and now she's speaking Russian, and her pronunciation's very, very good, and I don't know, I really like that. But the important thing to take away from this scene is not just the connection between Ayo and Bucky that we get, because of course at the end of episode 3 she showed up last week, and that was really awesome. But the important thing is here, I think, is Bucky's reaction to the fact that the words no longer control him and he's free. And I really, really liked that. It was just so powerful, and I almost started crying, I think, just watching his face and just the tears from, I don't know, he would have been feeling a million different things at that point, just relief, sadness, happiness, just an overwhelming amount of emotion passing through him at that point. And the way Sebastian Stan delivered that was just superb, and my hat's off to him, because that was just, it really affected me watching Bucky react to that. And like you want to reach through the screen and hug him. So that was a really, really cool way to start the episode. And I love the kind of contrast of, like, Ayo says in the flashback to Bucky that he's a free man, he's free. And then immediately the first thing she says to Bucky in present day is talking about Zemo. She's like, why did you free him? So we get her using the word free and it takes on two different complete meanings, given all the context here. And I don't know, I kind of liked, I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but I liked it nonetheless. Yeah, oh my God. What else should I talk about early on? The fact that the Flag Smashers bombing backfired. Carly was, clearly, as we see through this episode, very adamant in her actions, and that she was, in her mind, doing the right thing, doing what was necessary for the cause by bombing that GRC facility and killing people. It was nice to at least hear that it was only 3 people that died, because I kind of thought it was more, but still very sad. And yeah, because as a result of it, the government have initiated this Patch Act, which is basically fast-tracking all of the things the GRC are doing, all the things the Flag Smashers are trying to stop, getting the world back to the way it was before the snap, before the blip. So, yeah, she looks most unimpressed when they learn of this information. So, Yeah, so that was really interesting little thing to note. And then, of course, Zemo, Bucky, and Sam are still trying to find a way to get to Carly, and they, Donya is their way in, and Zemo does a little. Zemo is way more Zemo, I think, for me in this episode. Last week was, like I said last week in my video, super jarring, I think, just for him to be, I don't know, like, on their, like I said, on their side, it was weird. I wasn't really used to it. But in this episode, we got to see him be more manipulative and be more, more Zemo-like. The fact that I thought for half a second he was going to betray them when he was, he told the little girl and the other kids that were there at the camp, the facility, that, see those men over there, pointing to Sam and Bucky, those men are bad, and we don't tell them where Mama Donya's funeral is. We don't want them to find out, so it's our little secret. So I was, okay, he's going to betray them, awesome. But then it turns out he was just using it as leverage. So, he wouldn't be, turfed away, I suppose, or handed over to the government, or put back in a cell straight away. So, but yeah, that was interesting. And then when the fighting broke out later on, of course he was going to get away. Like, of course. Like, that, not to skip ahead too far, but the fact that it kind of annoys me in movies now that it's this trope of, oh, we're all fighting, so the bad guy's going to escape. Everyone's there for the same reason. Like, they all, not the same reason, but you know what I mean? Like, they're all on the same side, really, when it comes down to it. Like, they kind of all want the same thing, but they have different ways and means of going about it, and they clash, and therefore it gives the villain the time they need to escape. And in this case, it was Zemo slipping out of his, I think it's his apartment. It seemed like his, I don't know, probably was, because he's rich and royal, so it probably was his. But yeah, he got away. Yeah, but I'll get to that a bit more later. It was kind of, yeah, of course that was going to happen. Of course. Like, is anyone surprised? No. Yeah, I really got to say, though, talking about Carly now, I loved her in this episode. This is probably my favourite version of her we've seen so far. It's definitely the most we've seen of her, I think, throughout this entire series so far. The most dialogue she's had. And I really liked the conversation early on, like when they were getting the serum from their little hidey hole in the cemetery. I liked her kind of talking about that she hates what Captain America represents. She hates what the shield represents. She thinks it's a symbol of a bygone era that no longer exists and should no longer exist, and she'd rather see it destroyed. So that was really nice to learn how she feels about not just John Walker but Captain America in general. So that was really, really good insight. And then from there we basically go to the beautiful display of the flag smashers gathering to farewell Mama Donya, and Carly is eulogizing her, and it's really moving, and you really can see why people are standing behind her. And I think Erin Kellyman is just killing it, and she killed it this episode. Like, she was just wonderful, the way she delivered all her dialogue, and I love the way she kind of, I don't know, the way she not phrases things, but you know what I mean, like the way she speaks, the emphasis she places on certain words and the way she says it. It's just really powerful stuff. Like, you really believe her, I think, in the way she feels. But so that was really nice. And then one of my favorite scenes of the episode was Sam and Carly talking and Sam trying to talk her down and understand. And it was nice of the audience to be reminded of the fact that Sam used to counsel, soldiers, military people coming back from like Afghanistan and Iraq who were suffering from PTSD, that's what he was doing when we first met him in Winter Soldier back in 2014. So that was nice, a nice throwback to that. And I loved how he used his kind of knowledge and expertise in that area to go for Carly and her pain and her trauma and try and understand her and get her to understand him. The fact that they kind of, are kind of fighting with the same intentions, like, they kind of just want peace in a way, but, they have different means of getting it. I love how Sam makes that clear, I understand you, I understand so much of what you're going through and why you're doing what you're doing. I believe in your cause, I just don't believe in the method of it. And, I love how he calls her out for killing people, and even the moment where she, she's like, oh, and I'll kill them all again if they're just roadblocks in my way, or whatever she says. I think I'm paraphrasing that a bit, and then Sam's just like, oh wow, okay, and she's like, you're putting words in my mouth. You're making it sound like I'm a supremacist, which she disagrees with Zemo when he called her that, and Sam told her. So that's interesting, but yeah, so I really loved the way that Sam came at her with all of the facts, and just the way Anthony Mackie again also delivered his dialogue in that scene was wonderful. I loved how they were connecting. It was such a great scene, beautifully scripted, insanely well acted, and as always in these particular kind of shows and movies, when you're really starting to get through and make progress with the bad guy, someone comes in and messes it up, and that someone is John Walker. So John and Lamar are, they've caught up to Sam and Bucky and Zemo, and I loved their first interrogation in the middle of the street, not really trying to hide anything. I love the fact that you see people in the background holding up their mobile phones. I'm like, clearly someone is going to find out that that Zemo's on the loose, and it's going to be a bigger thing than it seems to be at the moment. I don't know, but obviously John's been ordered to bring him back to prison, but there's no kind of word on what's going to happen to Sam and Bucky after that happens. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be some repercussions, maybe, depending on how the series unfolds from here. But yeah, I don't know. And you can see, again, more things going on from last week of John just being, a little bit unhinged. And that really, of course, as we know, really hits the fan this week. Yes, it really does. So basically John breaks in and just as Sam was really just getting through to Carly, and then he decides to make a move, and shit goes down, and yeah, it's big fight, big stuff. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, that's right. So this is when Carly gets away, and then Zemo finds her first and shoots her. And because she obviously has the super soldier serum, she doesn't die. And she's going to heal, she's going to be fine. And it took me a second to remember that. And I was like, oh, that's right, she's super powered, so she's not going to die from that kind of a gunshot wound. But still, it gives Zemo the opportunity to notice the fact that the super soldier serum vials are all on the ground, and B, that he can end it, stop it. So he steps on all of them, and that was insane. And then of course, conveniently after that, Carly gets away, and then Sam and Bucky and John and Lamar all converge on Zemo, and yeah. Well, actually, no, I'm getting ahead, aren't I? John gets there. Zemo, I think Zemo takes off after that. I can't remember. I can't remember I think maybe he chases them out. I've kind of blocked, for some reason I've blocked this part of the episode out of my mind. I apologize. I was so caught up in it at the time that my goodness. So John finds, he notices the crushed vials on the ground, and then he finds, and it's so great. I was I was losing my shit at this moment because I'm like, this is it, this is the moment where he, like, I was like, there's going to be one left, and as soon as the camera panned over and revealed that one had rolled away, that Zemo didn't get, I was like, yes, take it. I was like yelling at the TV, take it, you fucker. Just take it. I know, you want to. Yeah. So I'm like, there's going to be one left and he's going to take it. And then, yeah, he did. And he does this weird head tilt thing. He goes, I can't do it. But, he like, he's like, I'm going to take this thing. And then, yeah, I thought he was going to take it right then and there. And he totally considered it. But instead he pocketed it and saved it for later, as we know. Yeah, so that was a great moment, seeing that. And then that's when everyone else rocks up. Yeah. But yeah, that head tilt was weird. He was just, it seemed very out of character for him. I don't know. Yeah, and then after that, that's when we get the Dora Milaje fight, which was awesome because, at the start of the episode, AO gave Bucky 8 hours for them to get their shit sorted with Zemo, and then they were coming for him. And 8 hours had clearly passed by that point, and so they arrived, AO and one other Dora Milaje, and threw down, and it was just so good and so satisfying to see John Walker get beat up for a bit by, as he pointed out, not a super soldier, not a super powered person. So that was great. But that whole fight scene was awesome, super well choreographed, the way that the spears were used and all the flips and everything. But then I was like, oh, this is when Zemo's going to make his exit, and yeah, he does. So that's, yeah. So, but it was great. It was super well choreographed, that fight scene. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Yes, what happens after that? Oh yeah, the fact that AO can actually touch Bucky's arm in a certain way and it makes it come off. Like, that's cool. That was a really cool reveal. Very unnerving to see Bucky kind of immobilized in such a way. I mean, yes, he's still very strong without the arm, but the arm is a great asset to him, and to see him just stunned that if you know where to touch him, it'll just fall off. Like, that was very, very cool. What else? Oh, yes. Okay. Interesting, the fact that, Carly and Sam were making such headway, right? With that conversation, like, Sam was getting through to her and maybe making her start to realize that killing is not the way to do this, even though she kind of still thinks that. And then she calls up Sarah, Sam's sister, and basically threatens her and her kids to get Sam to cooperate and meet up with her. And I was just like, really, Carly? Like, in the way she said it too, she went all freaking one-note villain, and I was like, okay, I get you're just means to an ending all these people, and they're just pawns in your big game. But that was, she's just willing to cross lines now. She really doesn't care. But I think she kind of felt a bit bad for doing it. And even when Sam and Bucky rocked up, she was like, I don't want to hurt you guys. I would never hurt Sarah. Like, they're really, like, the conversation clearly did make an impact on her, because, she was clearly starting to understand Sam and where he was coming from, and they were connecting. So that was really, really great to have some improvement. Then, of course, again, John Walker screws everything up. He and Lamar found the Flag Smashers base, I guess, wherever they are in Europe now. And and then they all bailed and raced to get there to stop John and Lamar from doing anything stupid and break up the fighting or whatever, I don't know. And then shit got real really quickly, because as we learned, John took the serum. It's done. He did it off camera, which I'm disappointed about, but the fact that it was revealed pretty quickly Next time we see him suited up, he's just fighting. And, before in the scene with him and Lamar, he was really questioning whether or not he should. Like, I think he wanted to, but he was talking to Lamar and, I think it was almost like, I don't want you to judge me for taking the serum if I take it and turn into someone you don't like. Sort of situation. Like, they're very concerned about, he was very concerned about that. But yeah, he's clearly taken it without telling Lamar or anyone, and then just starts throwing down against the Flag Smashers, who are superpowered, and holding his own against them. It was really insane to watch, but really cool. And then when, Carly and Sam and Bucky all rock up and converge on the fighting, it doesn't take long until shit really gets real. After Sam realizes that that John has taken the serum, he's a bit shocked, and basically they're trying to get Lamar because the Flag Smashers have taken Lamar hostage, and so fighting, which was another great thing, and then then Carly and John fight a bit, and they go toe to toe, and then Lamar steps in, and because he's not superpowered, gets defeated, and I knew that was going to happen. I literally thought, maybe 5 or 10 minutes before this, I was like, I bet they kill Lamar. Maybe not this episode, but at some point before the show is over, they kill Lamar, and it was this episode. That was really sad, because he seemed like a good dude, not entirely the best dude, but, he's John's best friend, and he clearly meant a lot to him, because the way John reacts to his death is pretty intense. And, he's fighting for his country, and I think he was the more level-headed, obviously, out of the two of them, so very sad to see his demise. R.I.P. Battlestar. But that was, and the way that they all kind of dispersed after that happened, because I think they all realised that, at least Carly realised that, the fact that now they're dealing with John Walker, who's clearly unstable, has taken the serum, and it just, they probably don't want to mess with him, so she runs away, and I think the others go after her and stuff, and then John goes after her in a big bad way. Chases Flag Smashers out into the street in the middle of the crowds, where the whole world is watching, because everyone's around with their cell phones and filming Captain America kill someone with his shield. My God, I was... okay. So probably the most powerful image of this entire series so far. This scene, seeing John, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew John was going to take, I think we all knew John was going to take this serum. He's going to be sent over the edge, and now the fact that his best friend's dead is just set him off again. And he's that unstable now that he's not even considering the ramifications of his actions. Not only A, killing someone, but B, killing someone dressed as Captain America, representing the shield, representing Steve Rogers in a way, and that's the part that upset me the most about it. It was good and it was powerful, but it upset me because, this is Steve's legacy. Captain America, the shield, it's all part of him, As much as the American government are trying to make it a mantle you can pass on to people, to whoever you want, even though Steve did bestow the mantle upon Sam before, at the end of Endgame, as we obviously know, but that's different to this, and just to see now and forever, in the eyes of the public, in the MCU, the shield is going to be associated with something bad. And the fact that it was the same kind of action, right, as when in Captain America Civil War, again, the series just keeps referencing that, when at the end, near the end, when Tony and Steve are fighting, and it's chaotic by this point, and it's right at the end of the fight. Steve has Tony on the ropes, and he's over him, and he raises his shield, ready to strike down. And you think he's gonna go for the head and kill Tony. Like, that moment was insane. I remember watching that in the theatre and going, just disbelief. But then, he shoved it into the reactor in the suit, and didn't injure Tony any further after that. But here we see John Walker as Captain America with the shield use it to actually go for the head and kill a man, even though it was a flag smasher, even though it was someone who belongs to a terrorist organization in this world. It doesn't matter, he did it. And Captain America doesn't kill people, not like that, not in a vengeful, bloodthirsty way with the poor guy crying out, "I didn't do it, it wasn't me," like, that killed Lamar, he's saying. And then everyone just stunned. Even Sam is just stunned. Carly's blended into the crowd somehow, and she's watching on in horror, and she's like stunned. Like, even she's shocked. It proves her point about what she, like, it just further reinforces what her point is about Steve Rogers and the shield and Captain America, and how that represents everything she's fighting against. And the whole episode, she's kind of, that's a whole kind of overarching thing about her against what the shield represents, and what that stands for, because there's that. And then when she's talking to Sarah on the phone saying, that Sam better not be working under John Walker, because that's, we're not having that. That's not going to be a thing. And, obviously she finds out that's not true, I think, in this episode. But even then, she's still stunned that Captain America has done this, and especially to one of her friends. So that's just going to only further enrage her now and send her further off the deep end. So it's just going to keep this vicious cycle of killing and vengeful behavior. It's going to get out of control by the time the show is done. It's fascinating that the first time we see Captain America in this new light, it's a callback to Civil War. Really powerful stuff. And the image of John standing there, holding the shield, and the bottom of it is covered in blood, and the look on his face is just nuts. Like, he just looks gone. Wow. I can't even with it. And then top that off, they changed the end credits music to something a bit more somber and reflective on what we just saw, and that was also very effective. I love the way they use music in these shows. And in anything MCU, it only adds to the beauty of the entire storytelling process. I love it. Okay, what else? I'm just looking at my notes now, seeing if there's anything I missed. I don't think so. If I did miss anything, please let me know, comment below. Because, that was bonkers. Probably the best episode of the show so far, I think. That was just incredible. Like, the show just keeps upping the ante now. We've only got 2 episodes to go, and John Walker's already taken the serum now and gone off the deep end. My goodness, we're in for a hell of a treat over the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned for more from me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like and subscribe, so you can see more videos coming soon from me in the future. Awesome, cool. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I've been a Kendall Richardson, and you've just experienced non-scripted ramblings.